Hello, welcome to Merrimack Valley Visions. I'm your host, Robin Ellington, here with another show about ideas, experiences, innovations, and improvements for the Valley. I talk to people who have a vision to make the Valley a better place to live, work, and play. And maybe that will be enough to challenge you to get involved. My guest today is Tom Vardabedian, who is here to talk about the Armenian Fall Festival at St. Gregory's Church in September. Welcome, Tom, to the show.
Hi, Robin. It's a pleasure to be here. Yes, our church, St. Gregory Armenian Apostolic Church of Merrimack Valley, annually conducts its picnic, its fall picnic. And we've been doing that ever since the inception back in 1970. But in reality, church picnics date back for eons and eons. I remember accompanying my parents to a church picnic.
Describe what it was like back then.
Back then, we're talking immigrant families now, Robin. People who have escaped turmoil in their homeland, genocide in some cases, hostility. They come here and they work the mills. They work their fingers to the bone to give their children an education that they were never able to get. Come Sunday, it was a day of rest, just like God when he created the world. The seventh day was a day of rest, usually.
The big plan.
And what did these families do? They needed something low cost. For any ethnic family growing up in the valley, North Andover, wherever, they would hightail it off to a picnic, okay? And there they would meet other Armenians because it was ethnically inclined. They would meet people from the villages that they immigrated from, who've converged here. You know, this great country of ours is a nation of immigrants, refugees. Where would America be if it wasn't for these people who developed this country? First and second generation people. So at this picnic, the boys and the girls would run around and play games, and the parents would hobnob with one another. The grandparents would sit there and reminisce about their days in Western Armenia. Okay. Where else can you go and have 4 generations under one roof, enjoying one another's company and preserving their heritage but a church picnic?
It sounds like a wonderful mix of potluck, great stories, and great personalities.
You know, it keeps the tradition alive. You know, just like Tivia said in Fiddler on the Roof. It's tradition.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because without our tradition, without our customs, our moral values, we are less than nothing. If you lose your identity, your roots, we're floundering. We become nomads in the desert. So in order to introduce our children to our customs and traditions, we bring them to church. We bring them to St. Gregory Church, North Andover. And there you'll find Armenian being spoken. You'll find a Mass, a Holy Mass. The same language of that Mass was conceived in the year 301 AD, when Armenia was the first nation in history to accept Christianity as a state religion. That language and that first Mass is still spoken today, 1,750 years later. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Do they understand it? No. But the Catholics never really understood Latin, but it was part of the whole, you know, tradition. And so our kids are learning a more modern form of Armenian. Every Sunday we have our Armenian School. I've been teaching since 1970.
So you teach to a group of kids?
I teach the middle school grades because we do have several other teachers. But back in the good old days, I was the Armenian school teacher in the Little Red Schoolhouse. And I'd deal with two groups of kids, the younger ones and the older ones, and I'd recruit some of the older ones to help me teach the younger ones. And by the time they graduate, I'm hoping that at least they can be conversational in their language. So perhaps they might want to go to Armenia on a student visa or a work study or something.
Explore their roots. And
explore their roots and spend the summer there and come back all the wiser for it.
And ready to share with others at the Armenian picnic.
That's, you know, and that's the other thing.
And so it goes.
We're having a dance ensemble called the Sidun Company, and their children. There's two stages of growth here, the little ones and the older ones. The older ones meaning teenagers and this and that.
The mentors.
The mentors. And they're all dressed in beautiful costume. It's about 25 dancers in all.
Wow.
And right in the parking lot, okay, of St. Michael's Church next door. And the music is playing, and they're dancing, and they do the round dance. You know, we call it the Bard, B-A-R. And they also do other dance steps, too, that are very prominent, you know, in historic Armenia, okay? When my mother used to dance back there, these kids are staging those dances today.
So do you close down Main Street with this picnic?
We do.
I'll bet.
We do. I got to tell you that St. Michael's Church, okay, has been a real godsend to us. The best neighbor any church can find. They're there for us, we're there for them. Last 3 or 4 or 5 years, we've collaborated our picnics jointly on the same date. 1 year was at North Andover Common. We would patronize their food. They would patronize our food. They publicized our picnic in their church bulletin. We publicized theirs in our church bulletin. We were neighbors, okay, and best friends, I might add. And now this year, we've kind of gone independent. They're having theirs on a different day. I don't quite know the day.
And yours is going to be on?
On September the 7th.
Sunday.
On a Sunday from 12:30 to 5:30, which is traditionally in the Armenian community the last picnic of the season. We want...
Oh, that's sad.
We want the last picnic of all the Armenian churches because we want them to leave with an indelible feeling. Okay, that, wow, the coup de grace.
Yes.
Okay, we want our church. Last is first in this case.
Yes, first in memory.
First in memory. So it'll put an end, you know, a closure to their summer in a nice, fancy-free way. And that's what we're looking for. Memories. It's all about memories. And we want them to come and enjoy it, as well as the non-Armenian community. This isn't just a picnic for Armenians. The non-Armenian community has just as much fun at this picnic with the food and the pastries and the music and the dancing as the Armenians do.
I understand that the dancers are back this year.
Yep.
An encore because they were such a big hit last year.
Right. They come and they dance.
They provide a centerpiece.
And they are. They're the centerpiece of our banquet. And we enjoy having kids. You know, when you see the kids dressed in their native costumes, you build up a hope that, you know, even after we depart, this next generation is going to carry the torch somehow. Mm-hmm. Many of them probably won't speak the language, but at least they'll appreciate the music.
You're building awareness.
We are. And these kids will recruit other kids. It'll have a domino effect. It'll have a domino effect, Robin. And you know, the church has been the glue that have kept the Armenian culture, the Armenian people together. You can talk about different political organizations, you can talk about athletic organizations, but in reality, the church is the focal point. And our church has served that here in Merrimack Valley since 1970, when a small group of visionaries decided to purchase a former church and turn it into an Armenian church.
44 years.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, and this is what we're doing. So it's a tribute to these ancestors, these people, our pioneers, our forefathers, that we're around today. And many of them are sons and grandsons and great-grandsons and granddaughters as well of genocide victims. In Merrimack Valley, when we first bought that church, we had something like 75 genocide survivors in Merrimack Valley. Many of them.
So these are people who fled Armenia.
They fled the Ottoman Turkish Empire, where the influx of Armenians lived, and were driven from their homes, those who survived. The genocide, 1915, next year will be the centennial, if you do the math, was the first genocide of the 20th century. It's a genocide that goes unrecognized today by the American government. The President of the United States of America won't endorse or pass any legislation, but because Turkey is an ally. It becomes very, very political. So here in Merrimack Valley, one of the missions that I'm on is going around to our schools, North Andover High School, schools like that. And through the kindness of the teaching staff, we tell the genocide story to our local population, kids. We want them to know that Armenia was a very resilient nation, that after being wiped out with half the population, today Armenia is an independent homeland. We have our own government, democratic form of government. And what went from 1.5 million people left from the genocide is now about 8 million throughout the world. And you got to thank countries like Armenia for opening their gates, not just for the Armenian people. People of all nations came here, refugees, passed through Ellis Island, saw the Statue of Liberty. It was the land of the free and the home of the brave. And my parents and grandparents were very much part of that sector. Yeah.
So tell me about the day that's coming up on that Sunday. You start at what time?
Well, let me tell you, it isn't just we show up and we throw a picnic.
So a lot of planning, I'm sure.
There's a lot of planning.
How big is the planning committee?
Maybe a dozen people. Yeah, but really everybody's involved because they pick up the phone and they'll say, can you make the paklava? Can you make the borma? My wife gets a call because her finesse is sesame seed cookies.
Oh yes, I've had those.
To die for. And my wife is a sesame seed cookie lady. So she's been commissioned.
And you're the PR man, I understand.
And I'm also the taster. So, yeah, we're going to have all kinds of traditional Armenian foods. I say Armenian.
Such as?
Shish kebab, losh kebab, chicken
So
kebab.
shish kebab is lamb.
Shish is lamb. Then we have beef. And then we have chicken. Okay. Rice pilaf, salad, and all the
Feta
different
cheese.
kinds of pastries and everything like that. We have vegetarian dinners as well. Okay. And we have a drink called tan, which is a watered-down yogurt drink. Okay.
Like kefir.
Yeah, and people love that. Games and activities for the whole family.
What kind of games?
Whatever, you know, they might bring in one of those romper room things. For
Oh,
their
the
child.
bouncy thing.
Yeah, we've had that in the past. We have some of the organizing games to keep the kids, you know, occupied.
Exhausted.
And exhausted. and they kind of go off, you know, while their parents, you know, chit-chat and eat and everything like that. And they have a good time, honestly. You know, cousins join together there. Aunts and uncles come together there.
Do you have exhibits that explain the history?
Not really. We have a fall festival, not to be confused with the picnic, because it's not really a fall picnic. It's a summer picnic, if you go by the day. We do have a fall festival in October, and it's on a Saturday, and it's toward the end of the month, and people can follow that through the Tribune or whatever. We advertise it well.
Okay.
And there we have different booths, we have different exhibits, we have raffles. It's more of a festival, and all the food that we have at the picnic will also be served there.
So not to disappoint.
So it'll be a carbon copy of what we're doing.
So are these fundraisers for your church?
They are. During the 80s, well, during the 70s and 80s, I should say, for a period of 20 years anyway, we used to have bingo. And we used bingo to help finance, you know, all our expenses, the pastor's salary, the upkeep, the maintenance of the church, and all of that. And we've renovated our hall, and it really looks good. It's a $1.2 million project that we just finished.
Ah, congratulations.
Actually, we do have another stage coming. Okay.
Will part of the picnic be held indoors?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and in case of fall weather, all of it pretty much will be.
Okay.
But we do have an outside terrace with a patio deck and everything, with and people are, you know, people go there and eat outside.
Nice.
If they don't want to be inside, you know. But it's air conditioned. We do have an air conditioned hall, so if it's really
prepared for any weather.
well, if it's really hot. People
like
certainly,
yesterday.
Yeah, people will eat inside. We have a big screen TV that if the Patriots are playing like they did last year, there were more people inside catching the game than there were outside. But anyway, whether you're inside or outside, you know, you can't help but suck in the aroma of the
So now
the meat
there's no
sizzling.
Excuse not to go.
No.
You've made it easy for everyone to be there.
You can watch the Patriots, you can listen to music, and the best part of all this, free parking, no admission.
Plenty of parking, I
Right,
understand.
and you just buy the food. I mean, it's as easy as that. Yep, I don't believe there's an admission fee. Sometimes we used to have one, but if it is, it would be like $1 or so, you know. But
So donations gratefully accepted.
of course they are.
Yes.
And this picnic, as well as the festival and some of the other activities that we have, finance our church. We have a pastor that has been aboard for about a year now. He's from Granite City, lives in North Andover with his wife and two boys, within proximity of the church. He just moved and bought a house, and he intends on making North Andover his home for as long as he's the pastor.
And his name is?
Is Dad Stepan,
Stepan?
S-C-E-P-H-A-N, Baljan,
Okay.
B-A-L-J-I-A-N.
Okay.
And his dad is Antranik, is the pastor in Watertown. So he's from a religious family.
And local.
And now he's local, he belongs to us. And he loves the Andovers.
That's wonderful.
Okay, so, yeah.
So you brought some pictures with you today. I understand there's 3 pictures of folks having a lot of fun
Right,
and
right,
enjoying the food.
Right, right.
And families having a good time at your picnic.
Right, right.
So it starts at what time again?
12:30.
12:30 and runs till
5:30.
5:30. Do you ever run over?
Not
People
really.
not wanting to leave?
I think pretty much 5:30 we start packing up the chairs and,
Okay. Okay.
and bringing everything indoors.
So do the kids help out?
The
do
kids
they have
are-
jobs?
They all have jobs. We recruit the kids to fold the chairs and
Great.
and help their elders and become a part of our church. I must tell you that it's a very dedicated bunch of people. They're my extended family, and I think other people can say the same thing. We go to church every Sunday. We maintain the well-being of our families in this church. We listen and watch a service that's 1,700 and some odd years old. We sing with the music. The vestments are all that old as well.
Wow.
Okay, the same vestments were worn back then that are worn now.
Pure tradition.
And then we have our coffee hour after our Mass. Sunday school and Armenian School is over with by then, and the kids join us. Sometimes there'll be a youth meeting, youth, they have clubs and everything. Mm-hmm. And the ladies' guild might have a little meeting or something like that. But they have meetings on Saturdays. Just kind of catching up and planning the week. And we have weddings, we have christenings, and sad to say, there are people that expire and they get buried out of our church. And pretty soon, by the way, we're going to be putting up our steeple. And hopefully within the next year, we'll be having
what do you need to do between then and now? To
Well,
get the steeple?
some cosmetic work.
Uh-huh.
We've decided to purchase an elevator, a lift. Whether or not that follows through, I don't know. The classrooms have all been refurbished. Beautiful floor, wooden floor, carpeting, very, very nice.
Mm.
And just some other things, nothing major. This has been a 3-year project, maybe a 5-year project, okay, of restoring and rehabilitating our church. I want to tell you something. It's the corner of Main Street. It's the cornerstone of North Andover Square. It's our little oasis in the desert. I wanted to get that out. And it's our beacon on a stormy night. The town decorates the big Christmas tree in the front. It looks like a Norman Rockwell painting.
Mm.
Okay. There was a time when our church membership had gathered and decided that we might want to look elsewhere. We searched for land. We searched for availability. We were actually going to leave the church where we started from. Higher ground, maybe, I don't know. And after all was said and done, after exploring this and that, we decided, why are we leaving our home? And we decided to stay right in North Andover Square and make that our home. And we launched a $1 million+ financial restoration project, which is just about nearing its climax right now. It's ending. So we're very happy that we stayed. And we wouldn't want to be any place else in the world but North Andover Square.
Well, you have a lot to celebrate this year.
We do. And I'm very happy to be a part of it, honestly, Robin.
So I understand. So you have a cookie baker in your family. You're the PR.
Right.
Does your daughter have a role?
Armenian school teacher.
Oh, that's right. You're also a
We
teacher.
can't forget that.
Yes.
She, because of her work schedule, it's been kind of hard for her to attend church regularly. But, she's with us in spirit every Sunday when she's not working.
But she'll be at the festival.
And she lives, a bit of a distance, not that far, but She doesn't have much free time, let's put it that way. And she'll come to church when she can.
Mm-hmm.
So she actually got married in that church.
That's wonderful.
And, and she's the editor, Sonia is the editor of the Andover Townsman. Been there close to a year now. So her roots are very much embedded right now into the Andovers.
Yes, as is the whole family.
As is the whole family, so.
Well, is there anything that you need that the community at large can help you with to make this year's picnic a success?
Well,
besides be there.
Probably more support from the outside community at large.
So could they contact you then if they have some ideas?
Yes.
And what number would they use to call you?
685, let me see, 5038.
Okay.
685-5038, that is the church number.
And they can reach you there?
Well, they can reach the pastor.
Okay.
He's usually there. Or they can email me. I don't mind. Well, they can email the church, actually. Or just go on www.stgregory.org.
Okay.
We have a web page.
Okay.
So anything they want to know about what's going on in our church.
And how they can help.
And they're welcome to visit and explore it and attend the Sunday service and see something they've never seen before. And all they have to do is just go online, and the schedule, the church service schedule is there, and everything else is there, including all the pictures they want to see of previous picnics as well.
Okay. Thank you, Tom, very much for being a guest today.
My pleasure.
Today we heard from Tom Verabedian from St. Gregory's Church about his vision to bring culture to the town, as well as a fine history of the Armenian people. Thanks for tuning in to Merrimack Valley Visions, a show about ideas, innovations, experiences, and improvements for the Valley. If you have a vision to make this a better place to live, work, and play, I'd like to talk to you. Call me with your ideas at 978-337-6826 or email me at rdeink@verizon.net. Then come on the show and share your vision for the Valley. Thank you for watching. I'm your host, Robin Ellington, and I'll see you next time on Merrimack Valley Visions.